Yo, what is going on, gamers, and welcome back to another Fortnite gameplay video. In this video, I wanted to give you guys some of my best advice and tips on how you might be able to break into the double digits when it comes to your kill count when winning Fortnite matches. A lot of people take more passive approaches, but I can guarantee you it is a highly satisfying and rewarding feeling when you can win a match, be it solos, squads, duos, whatever, with 10 plus kills during the match. It's just a great feeling, and it also helps just to make you a better dueler overall in your gunfights in this game when you're getting into and winning that many gunfights. So how can you make that happen? One of the things that I hear most from people that I think is a common misconception is a lot of people say you have to land someplace super hot and have most of your kills at your landing zone. I play mostly solos, and I can tell you there's times I go to Pleasant Park or Retail Row, and because of the nature of solos and the fact that people can get decent loot for just one person in really uncontested areas, I can tell you that sometimes I go to these places and there's only one or two people. Sometimes even I'm the only person that lands out of 100 people at places like Retail Row or Pleasant Park. That happens from time to time, and it's really bizarre. So don't feel like if you only walk away from your landing zone with one kill that it's not going to happen, because even last night on stream I had a match where there were just over 40 people left alive and I had 0 kills. I had not gotten into any gunfights, and I ended up winning the match with 13 kills. It is possible. In fact, I would argue that the majority of your kills come in the late mid game to the end game when it comes to these matches. That's where most of your action is going to take place and where most of your gunfights are going to happen, usually. Obviously there are exceptions to that rule, so you don't necessarily have to land at someplace super hot. I mean, there's times where I'll land at what I think is a somewhat remote place and have 4 people, so it just depends on the lobby. What really matters is how you play the rest of the match out, and that's what I really want to talk about. Keep in mind that the best loot generally comes from killing other players and taking what they have. That's where most of your good loot's going to come from. So it's definitely good to get into gunfights, more often than not, and push those gunfights. So first thing I would say, take advantage of fights. If you hear gunfire and you can assume that there are 2 people in an engagement, it's really easy to come up and just clean up whoever survived, or find 2 people fighting each other and they're not looking at you, they're not aggroed on you. Sometimes that makes for really easy sniper kills too, if someone's built up a staircase so that they can head glitch and line up a shot on another person, and you hear them fighting. You come up from a different angle and you've got this guy maybe from behind or from the side where his head glitch is ineffective, and he's not moving because he's tunnel visioned on a different threat, and you've got a different angle where you can just pick him off pretty easily with a headshot. If he's got shields, with a sniper rifle or even an AR, when they're immobile, you can line up that first shot before the bloom really starts to kick in and make sure that your shot counts. Another thing that I would tell you is that panic building is so crucial. If you're going to rack up multiple successive kills, you need to get used to preserving your health and just having that fast reaction time where if you are not in a fight, you're just kind of moving from A to B, and suddenly bullets start flying, your instant response should be I don't know what you have your building mapped to, but for me, I instantly hit my mouse button that I have mapped to building walls and just start throwing them up, and then I've got the muscle memory down where I can go wall, staircase, jump, put a staircase underneath me, and now suddenly I've got cover and a head glitch, and I can find where the threat is, where the person that's putting shots on me is. So panic building is super crucial. You can turn a bad situation into a situation where you suddenly have high ground and even a little head glitch. You can third-person camera from cover and find out where the person is, and then peek up and put shots on them. So panic building, super important, and fast building in general is really important. You need to be able to build quickly, so the more you do it, the more you'll build up that muscle memory, and the easier it will become for you. So you see in the gameplay here, I was just messing with this guy. I swooped in, he had no idea, so I just switched to my sniper and just no-scoped him in the back. But he did end up turning on me. I probably should have been quicker to get for my shotty, but it was kind of humorous. Anyways, another thing I would tell you, if you want to rack up lots of kills in a game, picking up strategies from really good players is actually a great way to improve your skill in gunfights and rack up more kills. I don't watch a lot of Twitch. Obviously, I stream. I work, sometimes 50-60 hour weeks streaming and uploading, so I don't have a ton of time to watch streams, but I do in the evenings sometimes catch guys like Ninja, and I'll watch Darkness 429. I watch Dr. Lupo. I play with Lupo and Darkness pretty frequently as well. These guys are just super talented players, so I pick up a lot of things from watching them play. And there are certain strategies that I now employ very regularly that aren't strategies that are unique to me. They're not strategies that I thought of on my own or just did naturally or organically. They're strategies that I picked up from watching these guys. Specifically, there's a move that Tim, Darkness 429, does frequently where when he gets in a shotgun battle, he takes a shot and then instantly throws up a wall and switches back to the shotty. And what that does is it gives him that downtime in between shotgun blasts. He basically makes himself immune to damage by throwing a wall up. He takes a shot, instantly a wall goes up in between him and his opponent. His opponent shoots his shotgun, and it ends up hitting Tim's wall. And then Tim can peek back out, instantly take another shot, right? It's just a way of negating damage and giving yourself an edge in those gunfights. And these are just strategies that now I employ regularly only because I started watching players that I think are better than me and picked up on some of the things that they do. So I would encourage you guys to watch great players, and you'll start to pick up on some of their strategies as well. Another thing I'll tell you is that time savers are a big deal. If you want to rack up multiple kills, it's really important to be able to react quickly and cut out some of the things that take time out of your DPS, right? Your damage dealing. So things like inventory management. Take the time when things aren't hot, when you're not engaged actively with another player, find some cover, pull up your inventory. And for me, I always have my AR mapped to 2, always have a shotty at 3, usually it's a sniper at 4, and some sort of explosive at 5, and my healing is all the way over at 6. So save yourself time so that it's always the same for you generally. Have a system that you stick to. Not everybody uses that same system that I use. But you just need to have a system. So you've got muscle memory. It's the same generally every time, so that in the moment when you're fighting, you know what to do just to instantly switch to whatever item you need in the moment, and that changes from moment to moment. Another thing when it comes to time savers it's important to remember is that with your traps, if the last thing you did was to lay down a trap, usually when you're building, it always just instantly defaults to building a wall, right? If you just hit your build button, your character model will pull up a wall to build. Sometimes you get in a situation where the last thing you did was to lay down a trap or lay down a jump pad, and when you've done that, it doesn't reset back to the wall. So sometimes you start getting shot by some angle, and then you go to just panic build a wall, and instead you pull out a trap, and you take additional damage because you have to switch off of it. So just remember, if you lay down a trap, just go ahead and instantly switch back to your building materials instead. That way, the next time you're in a sticky situation and you need to build a wall, you don't have to switch off of the trap later, if that makes sense. So just time savers like that. Another thing, pre-select materials. If you're on the run and you're set on wood, but you only have 15 wood, but you've got 300 stone, go ahead and just switch your material when you're out of combat over to stone. That way, when you do get in combat, you don't just throw up one wall and then have that oh crap moment, I'm out of wood. So time savers, big deal. Things that are easily overlooked, but they are actually a really big deal. One of the most important things when racking up kills is pacing your shots. You'll save ammo, you'll be more accurate as well, so it's really important to pace your shots. Some of the most potato moments that you'll have in this game are when you're just spamming shots and you're not very accurate, especially with something like a pump shotgun, because when you pull the trigger, even if your character hasn't done the pump animation and actually chambered a new round of buckshot into the barrel, if you press the trigger beforehand, he'll go ahead and queue up the shot. So as soon as it gets cycled, he's just going to shoot, even if that's not the precise moment that you wanted to shoot. So don't spam the trigger on a pump shot. You need to take your time, pace your shots. That is super important. Pacing your shots will make you more accurate, make you save ammo, make you get more kills. Another thing, you have to get used to quote-unquote storming castles. Especially in the late game, you're going to get in these positions where sometimes the zone is not kind to you. So you have to push into a zone where people are already established. They've got their towers built, and their castles built and their cover built, and you have to get into a rhythm where you're comfortable engaging people who are in those structures and they're already set up. They've got the third-person camera angle where they don't have to reveal themselves, but they can watch your every move, right? So you have to find ways of leveraging strengths against them. Things like jump pads. Save jump pads for endgame when it matters, when you have to storm castles like that, and I put plenty of jump pad plays in this video so that you can see how that plays out. But you definitely need to save your jump pads for the end game so that you can get the high ground on people who are already in their buildings that they have built. You need to get used to building quickly and building 2 wide, right, double wide staircases, preferably out of stone if you have it, because it builds quickly and is more durable than your wood. So building staircases that are 2 wide, just bop, 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 building and running at the same time. The guy turns around, starts shooting out the bottom, but by the time he gets that, just one of those things blasted out from underneath you, now he needs to reload or switch weapons. You're already up in his grill. You can jump into his base with a shotgun and hopefully take him out. Another thing you need to get used to doing is placing grenades accurately. If you're trying to storm somebody's castle, you've seen the gameplay there, lobbing a grenade down inside, especially if they only built it 1 by 1. Explosives like grenades and grenade launchers are so good at taking guys out of their bases because they can't really avoid the explosions. The very last thing I would say that's super important if you want to rack up kills is map positioning. Look at the map, see where you are, see where the zone is pushing people out of. So if the zone is coming from north to south, you can say, okay, well, maybe I can go on a cutoff route and just kind of go north a little bit, find people coming out of Anarchy Acres, or find people coming out of Tomato Town. Stuff like that. So put yourself in a position where you can cut people off as they come to the zone. Hope these tips have been helpful, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the gameplay, and hopefully I'll catch you out there on the battlefield.